Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2017 Honda CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest van yet.
Welcome to Rogers Center on a beautiful Friday night here in Toronto. The Minnesota Twins are in town for the first time, and Jay Happ will open up this series for the Blue Jays. This field-level action cam brought to you by the Samsung Galaxy S8. Unbox your phone. Jay Happ last time out pitching against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He is anxious to get things turned around a bit. He had won his previous 3 starts prior to that. Paul Molitor and the Minnesota Twins are here for the first time this season. These two teams will play 7 games against one another, but this will be their first of the 2017 season. Take a look at Molitor's lineup. He was checking his lineup against that of the scorecard he put up on the wall. Joe Mauer, he has been a terrific player for a long time, and he's always hit well against the East. This season, batting .353 against the AL East. A couple of home runs and 7 RBIs. And Eddie Rosario, the left fielder. Rosario and Polanco have really gotten hot lately, and Rosario over his last 17 games hitting over .350 with 5 doubles and 6 home runs. They are really scoring a lot of runs, and Jay Happ has his hands full tonight with this Twins lineup.
They're averaging 6 runs a game in the month of August. Jay Happ, 19th start of the season. He's allowed 1 earned run or fewer in 7 of his 18 starts and 2 earned runs or fewer in 11 starts. He's pitching on 6 days rest. He took the loss in his last start. That was against the Cubs. Allowed a season-high 9 hits over 5 innings. He retired the Cubs in order in the first inning, then didn't have another 1, 2, 3 inning over his last 4 innings. That loss snapped a 3-game win streak. 8 more strikeouts, though, for Jay Happ in that game, pushing his season total up over 100.
Brian Dozier, he has really put together another great season. 26 home runs for Dozier this season. He is hitting leadoff. He's been a great second-half player over the last couple of seasons.
Be careful with this guy. He is ready to jump all over that first fastball. He's up to 26 home runs this season.
Happ has had a real good sinker lately. Takes that 2-seam fastball, runs it downstairs, and got Dozier to chase. This will be his 6th game against the Twins, and they have hit him around a bit. Dozier pulls that one foul.
The problem that he has had against them is he's been walking too many batters. He's had 4 starts against them. He's pitched in 5 games. He's also had a game of relief. 13 walks in those 20 2/3 innings.
High pop-up back over the screen and out of play. Well, we told you they have colored uniforms, and some players choose to use colorful bats, and baseball has relaxed its stringent rules about uniformity, and they've allowed players to express themselves with different gloves, different bats. They've got a patch on their shoulder, and we'll talk more about that. They have the opportunity to acknowledge somebody that's had an impact on them, and Dozier chooses to have his hometown. He said, there were too many people in my hometown to name individually, so I just put the whole town, Fulton, Mississippi, and you can see Jay Happ's got mom and dad on his patch. That's awesome.
It's such a cool thing. I went through the locker room today, seeing everybody's patch. It's eclectic, a little bit of everything.
Really an opportunity for everybody to pay homage to somebody that's had a positive impact on their life. Somebody that might have coached them in the minors, been a great inspirational leader. Dozier drills this one into the alley. Aoki is going to try to cut it off. He gets there. Dozier's making the turn, and he'll stop as Aoki got over in the alley and cut it off to keep Dozier to a single. Well, a little bit of a different look in defense tonight for the Blue Jays. Pierce, Pilar, and Aoki in the outfield, and Jose Bautista makes another start at third.
Yeah, it's his 4th start this season at third base. John Gibbons was saying before the game Josh Donaldson needs to get off of his feet, but he wanted to keep his bat in the lineup, so he's going to DH him tonight. Next move is to bring in Jose, and Jose's looked good at third base. He's handled everything flawlessly so far this season.
It's his natural position. He just hasn't played it on a regular basis for a while. This is Joe Mauer, the first baseman. Mauer has been a terrific player for a long time. He was the first overall pick in the 2001 draft by Minnesota. He's now 34 years old. He was an MVP in 2009. And he's won 3 batting titles. Take strike 2.
But you wouldn't know that when you look at some of the numbers that he has put up against the Blue Jays lately. They have really held Mauer in check over the last couple of seasons.
He's never had a hit against J-Happ. He's 0 for 4. Down and away. Joe Mauer grew up in St. Paul. Went to the same high school as his manager, Paul Molitor, to Creighton Durban High School in St. Paul. Molitor would go on to play at the University of Minnesota before he was drafted. When Mauer was the MVP in 2009, he hit .365, had an OPS of 1.031, and much along the lines of the type of seasons Molitor would put up, he did everything that season and was aptly named the MVP.
Well, he hits the ball where it's pitched. He can go the other way as well as anybody. The defense certainly reflects that.
Strike 3 call. Happ using that fastball as he does so often. Gets Mauer looking at strike 3.
He has walked his share of twins in his career. He's also struck out his share of twins. This time he gets a dangerous hitter by making him look at that fastball, freezing him on the outside corner.
Going to see a lot of fastballs from both Happ and Bartolo Colon. Happ throws the 5th most fastballs in the majors. Colon throws the most. Bouncing ball. Happ will come off the mound and spin and go to first. That retires Byron Buxton. Dozier moves to second on the out.
It's a team, the Minnesota Twins, who have been scoring a lot of runs, a lot of power numbers, a lot of doubles, a lot of home runs in the month of August, and they basically slugged their way back into the pennant race.
Asked Paul Molitor about the improvement of his ball club. He says, you know, basically the biggest improvement has been the pitching, which is in turn made, excuse me, I have that reversed. The defense has been better, and the pitching has been better because of the improved defense. This is Eduardo Escobar off the plate inside.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt it also that you score 6 runs a game. You can win a lot of games when you're averaging that. The team, that it's an aggressive group. They don't take their share of walks. They go up there, they go ahead and swing. It's an aggressive team offensively with enough power.
They have had controlled aggression for sure, and you see the runs scored in the month of August. They have scored 5 more runs than the Texas Rangers and the Orioles. We know how prolific they are, but the Twins are the leader of the pack for runs scored in August. Two balls and no strikes. Bouncing ball. Bautista near the bag at third makes a nice play, and that'll do it. Jose Bautista, his first chance at third, no problem at all. J-Happ gives up a leadoff single and nothing more. Bartolo Colon will take the mound when we come back to Rogers Center. game. He is 4 for 9 hitting first in the top of the order. He has a double and a home run as the #1 hitter in the line. Let's take a look at the rest of the lineup for John Gibbons Blue Jays. Steve Pearce at the top, Josh Donaldson right behind him, and then Jose Bautista against the Minnesota Twins. He has absolutely killed them. Look at those numbers in just 56 games. He's at 24 home runs and driven in 42 runs. And then Darwin Barney, he too has hit well against the Twins, a .375 average with 2 homers and 3 RBIs. And they are set to take on 44-year-old Bartolo Colon.
The oldest active player in the major leagues right now. Colon defeated the Diamondbacks in his last start. His 30th team in which he is defeated. Becomes the 18th pitcher to have beaten all 30 teams with Atlanta, Minnesota this season in 20 starts. He's got a high ERA and he's 5-10.
That fastball off the plate outside to Steve Pearce. As long as Colon has played and as long as Pearce has played, you'd think they have faced one another before, but they haven't. Another fastball off the plate. It's 2-0.
86 mile an hour on that heater, and he's going to throw a lot of fastballs. He's got the 3rd lowest fastball velocity in baseball, but he can control it like nobody else can in the game.
And he makes adjustments. Obviously, he's not getting the strike calls now, so he'll just make a little adjustment, move it a little bit over. Kyle Hendricks of the Cubs and Jason Vargas of the Royals, the only 2 pitchers that throw a fastball at a lower velocity than Colon. 3-0 pitch. Now that looks like the same pitch. So now one of the pitcher or the hitter are going to question it. Okay, which is which?
Which one is the strike? He's a control freak, but he's averaging about 2.5 walks per 9 inning. That's the highest mark since 2009.
Took a little bit off that pitch and got the check swing foul, and just like that, it's a full count. Steve Pearce has done a nice job. He has gotten some hits to the right side of the infield. In fact, homered not too long ago to right. There's the bringer of rain, who is the DH tonight. Colon and Dozier. He had just moved back to that side of second base and makes a nice play to take a hit away from Pearce.
Well, no secret what Bartolo Colon is going to feature. It's basically a fastball. He'll change speeds with it. He'll move it in and out. He'll get some movement on it late. About 90% of the time, that fastball is going to be there. He'll show you a slider, and he'll show you a changeup every now and then and cut the ball. But it's basically, here it is. If I place my fastball where I need to, I can get you out. That is his saying. So Blue Jay hitters, they're good fastball hitters. Go up there and look for it.
Colon is 3-1 over his last 4 starts. Here is Josh Donaldson. There's another fastball, and that's what you have to look for. Just make sure you get a good pitch to hit. Josh is the DH tonight. John Gibbons getting him off his feet for at least half of the ball game. Upstairs.
Colon had 2 wins when he was with the Atlanta Braves. One of them was against the Blue Jays. They saw him back in May. Right here, and they hit him around, but they couldn't beat him.
Picked up that win. 2 earned runs in 5 innings and a 10-6 win over the Blue Jays.
Lots of base runners and 7 hits in 5 innings against the big right-hander.
2-1 to Donaldson. Popped it up straight back. Look out, Pat.
Just a couple more feet and I have one.
I don't remember getting a foul ball in the booth this year.
Not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
Running out of time. 2-2 to Donaldson. That shatters his bat. Dozier behind the bag at second. Will throw to first for the second out of the inning. Even at 87, he can break bats. He got in Donaldson's kitchen.
He can move that ball around. I told you his control is impeccable, but he gets great movement on that fastball. Watch this thing run in on Josh. Josh shatters that new bat with that first swing. Slices it right in half, but he just pushes it off that finger, and he gets that movement that he needs to and runs it right in on his fists.
We mentioned Bartolo Colon, 44 years old. He has 63 wins after he turned 40. That's impressive, but not nearly close to the leader.
Smoak hits one in the alley, and this is going to get down. And it bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Huston Smoak with a 2-out double to the opposite field. Boy, that's the approach you've got to take against Colon.
Because he's going to sink that fastball to lefty, so you can't try and pull it. Just go right with it. And Mookie, that's his nickname, and it's one of my favorites. We'll get into that. Watch how this ball is going away. It's going right to his barrel, though. If he doesn't roll over that ball and swings through it like he did, he's going to be able to drive the ball the other way like he does. Another extra base hit for Justin Smoak.
Ground rule double with 2 outs, and that'll bring Joey Bats to the plate. Bautista playing at third. Mentioned his career against the Twins. He's got 24 home runs. Guess what? He got a fastball.
Yeah, you can guess against Bartolo Colon. There's Mookie right there. It's a great where we heard he got that. Some of his teammates couldn't say Smokey. They would say Mookie. So he said, you know what? I'm going to go with it.
I tell you, the genesis of some of the nicknames is pretty interesting. Some of them we can even tell you the genesis of them.
With that one, when I heard that one, I started cracking up that some of his teammates just couldn't pronounce Smokey with an S. They're just like, hey, Mookie. So he went with it.
Ball on a strike to Bautista. Popped it up. Colon, ball players know Bartolo Colon is Big Sexy. That's his nickname, but he wasn't allowed to use that, so he chose to put his mother's maiden name on his back in honor of his late mother. He had made a promise to his mom that he would pitch until he's 45, and he's just about completed that promise. One and two, 2 outs. Smoak at second. Fly ball to right. Max Kepler, a very good defender in right near the foul line. And Bartolo Colon is through the first. We've played an inning. Each team has a hit, no score.
Officially begun across the major MLB, and if you haven't already noticed that the Blue Jays, the Twins, every single team around the majors are wearing brand new jerseys, and instead of their names, it is their nicknames. It has led to some disappointments. For example, Kevin Pillar could not be Superman because that is trademarked, so he is Hale. Now, the creativity doesn't end with just jerseys. Guys are allowed to create bats, socks, gloves, cleats. For example, Marcus Stroman made a mint green custom pair of Jordan cleats. He didn't pick the color randomly. He chose it inspired by his color of the favorite pack of gum he chews before the game. Now, a couple of players I spoke to said it's a fun idea, but for them the most meaningful thing is the patch on their arm. It allows them to put a name of a charity to bring awareness to, or give thanks to someone who is very special in their life. The Buck Pat, you're going to see a lot of mom and dad on the arms of MLB players, and rightfully so.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people that had an impact on their lives and their careers. Jorge Polanco, one of these switch hitters. Polanco playing at shortstop. He's really come on with the long ball lately, swinging a hot bat. Mentioned the August surge for this team. There's a liner to left. Pierce coming in. He'll play it on the hop. A leadoff single for Polanco.
Boy, he has been red hot in the month of August for Polanco. He has now hit safely in 19 of 22 games this month with some power. Breaking ball stays back on it and golfs it out into left field.
So Polanco gets it started for the Twins here in the second, and he'll bring another hot hitter, Eddie Rosario. Rosario, the left fielder, he's hit 7 home runs in his last 19 games. Shows bunt, takes a strike.
This guy can hit right here. 18 home runs, 53 driven in, but he goes up there swinging. Doesn't like to walk. Barely walks this season, but still has a very nice on-base percentage.
.337 in that category. He was the American League Player of the Week for the week of August 14th. He hit .444. Scored 10 runs, had 3 doubles, 4 homers, and drove in 9. Was his first American League Player of the Week award. Happ gets that ball inside and pops him up.
Not a real big guy, but he's got a quick bat. And he's got some power the other way.
Just 2 for 2 against Jay Happ. Rosario is just 25 years old. He's from Puerto Rico. He was a 4th round pick by the Twins in 2010. This is his 3rd season with Minnesota. Strike 3 call. Happ using that fastball once again. Second strikeout. Both have been looking.
Just like the first inning, he gave up leadoff single to Dozier and then struck out Maurer, a left-handed batter, with a fastball in the outside corner. He comes right back there after the leadoff single to Polanco. Some dot the eye on the outside corner. Paints it out there from overhead. It's right there.
He comes at you. We talked about Happ. He throws a lot of fastballs, just like Colon. This is Mitch Garver, the DH tonight. He goes after that first pitch. He was recalled on the 18th of August. He made his debut the next day as a pinch hitter. Got his first big league hit on the 20th of August. Came up from Rochester, their AAA team, where he hit .291. Well, Happ's got good control of that fastball so far tonight.
He's really done it all month long in the month of August. Had a very high strikeout percentage versus righties with that fastball. That's what you want to do with a young kid. Let's see if you can hit a major league fastball.
He hit over 300 against lefties in the minor. This time he strikes out. Quick work of Garver by Happ, back-to-back strikeouts.
Get 3 times the Aeroplan miles this summer by shopping at Home Hardware. 4 days only, from August 23rd to 26th.
Beautiful Friday night 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. The first time these two teams have played this season. There goes the runner. Montero's throw is just a little bit late at second as Polanco picks up his 9th stolen base of the season. Montero threw it to the shortstop side of second. It may have been closer had it been on the other side of the bag.
Polanco went on first move of Jay Happ, so he took that one on the pitcher. He had a full head of steam before Montero could even get the ball to throw it. There's the first move, and it's off ever so slightly. If Goins can catch that one on the bag, he has him, but it took a little bit too long.
Ground ball to second. Max Kepler grounds out, and for a second straight inning, the Twins get a base hit from their leadoff man, and Happ leaves them on base. Giancarlo Stanton. And the Marlins trying to get over 500 for the first time since April 26 when they were 10-9. They put on quite a late season surge. 48 home runs, the most in the National League since Ryan Howard hit 48 with the Phillies in 2008. There's a deep drive to center field. Buxton cruises over and makes the catch. Montero's retired. Defensively, the Minnesota Twins, according to their manager Paul Molitor, might be the biggest improvement they've had this season has been on defense, and Buxton has a lot to do with it in center field, and Joe Mauer's had a terrific season at first.
And boy, has he ever. This is start number 100 this season at first base. For Mauer, he's committed one error. He dropped a pop-up on August 3rd versus Texas. That's it. So you know he'll be getting some votes for Gold Glove over at first base. He's a converted catcher.
Played 10 years as a catcher and won Gold Gloves as a catcher, and now he's over at first base and looking for his first Gold Glove there. Pill takes a first pitch strike. And if you can't recognize that swing, it's Kevin Pillar, of course, and he has chosen to take the nickname Pill as he couldn't use Superman. Clark Kent had already used that, and it's not available.
For some reason, Pill just doesn't get it.
No, it doesn't.
Like Superman.
0-2. High fastball. Dozier knocks it down, recovers, but not in time. Boy, that ball really hit him hard right on the heel of his hand. And he's still feeling the effects of it. He's taking his glove off right now and trying to get the feeling back as Kevin Pillar smoked that ball to the second baseman.
I wonder if he got leather on this, meaning did he get his glove on it? This ball's hit right at Dozier. He's positioned perfectly with the short hop off his wrist. It didn't even hop. It was just a line drive right off the wrist. And he's feeling that one.
Absolutely, he's feeling that one.
He was anticipating the short hop, and it stayed up.
You've gotten hit there, right where all those ligaments and tendons come together, and it just really hurts and makes your hand go numb for a while. Nori Aoki, the right fielder. Pillar is credited with an infield hit. It was too hot to handle. Aoki hit a long home run on Tuesday night in Tampa as the leadoff man, leading off the ball game with a deep home run to right field. His fourth of the season.
Gibby has said he wants to get Carrera some more playing time. He wants to get Aoki some more playing time, see what they can do. This is a good matchup, I think, for Aoki. Lots of fastballs.
Colon continues to work this Blue Jays lineup upstairs. It seems counterintuitive given the fact that so many of these Blue Jay hitters are home run hitters and they could hit that high ball. Baltimore leads Boston early, 3-0, top of the second at Fenway Park. There's a deep drive to left field. Rosario is back. He's at the track. Pillar's going back to tag at first, but Rosario gets the ball back in quickly. Aoki hit it all the way to the warning track in left field, but it's out number 2.
Well, there's no question that Bartolo Colon is a fly ball type of pitcher, so you better have a good outfield, and that's where one of the biggest improvements, I think, from the Minnesota Twins this year is their outfield. Buxton every day has been playing in center field. He's been outstanding. He's going to get some Gold Glove votes in the outfield. But they basically have 3 center fielders in their outfield now, just running down everything.
Max Kepler is in right. Paul Molitor said that's a big improvement for us. We had Sano out in right field last year, and he's an infielder. He's played third base, and currently he's on a disabled list. But Kepler, Buxton, and Rosario, very good outfield.
Pillar getting back easy against Colon, and if he's going to get back that easy, you can't think he's going to be trying to steal.
Of course, number 17 is Gogo. He's been Gogo ever since he came to the big leagues with the Blue Jays. Ryan Goins, 2 outs. Pilar at first. Another fastball up and out of the strike zone.
You know Goins is going to get fastballs up. That's where teams have been trying to pitch him lately. High fastballs, about letter high. Didn't work out the other day from Tampa.
Austin Pruitt tried that in the second inning, and he went upstairs, got up on top of his toes, and hit one way back in right. 1-0 with Pilar at first, not running. Foul back. Colon began his career in 1997. He won a Cy Young in 2005 while pitching for the Angels. But he has been a terrific pitcher for a long time. 238 career wins.
One of 3 active players who began their major league career in the 90s. And everybody at home, I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about that one.
Base hit for Goins. Pilar had to let it pass. Kepler will field it, and Kevin stops at second. Goins has his first hit of the night.
Ryan Goins with his first base hit, second one this inning for the Blue Jays. The Super Slow-Mo brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV. You got that runner over there at first base. Why not try and poke one through that hole? Goins does. Pilar has to hold up momentarily, so he can't go first to third. So the other 2 players, Adrian Beltre and Carlos Beltran, the other players who started their big league careers in the 1990s, still going strong.
And they are still playing very well. This is the number 9 hitter, Darwin Barney. He takes strike 1. Barney, for his career against Minnesota, 375 hitter. Hit a pair of doubles and 2 home runs, 9 for 24. He is Darbar. And he said he's had a wide assortment of nicknames, but that's the name they gave him, obviously, short for Darwin Barney. You had to have a nickname on the Indians when you first came up.
Yep.
What was it? Can you tell us?
Yeah, good question. Good follow-up. It's the same one that is I'm going by now.
Tabby.
Tabby Cat. Darwin Barney, Darbar. Every nickname had to be in by August the 11th to get the approval from MLB.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some that were denied out of hand. Just, somebody submitted something. And to this point, and I haven't heard them all, obviously, but still, to this point, my favorite is Tommy Two Towels. Tommy Hunter down in Tampa Bay. That's his nickname.
No explanation needed.
No, he's a big fella. 1-1 to Darwin Barney. Looper into left field. Rosario is there, and that'll end the inning. Blue Jays get a couple of singles, but strand a pair. Through 2 innings, Bartolo Colon and Jay Happ are pitching shutout ball.
take on their division rival Boston Red Sox Monday, August 28th to Wednesday, August 30th. For more information and tickets, go to bluejays.com, guys.
Thank you very much, Sean. You can see a lot of fans here, and the crowds have been terrific all season long, and the Blue Jays, I know, are very appreciative of the turnout day in and day out here at Rogers Center. Chris Jimenez, he will lead things off for the Twins. Their starting catcher, Jason Castro, was hit on the face mask on a foul tip, and he is on the DL on the 7-day concussion DL. So Jimenez, a journeyman backup, gets the start here. Kevin Pillar is there. He makes the call, 1 away.
It's been a tough week or so, 10 days or so for the Minnesota Twins when it comes to injuries. They haven't had a lot of injuries this season, but over the last week they've lost some of their key players.
Yeah, and they lost their big third baseman, Miguel Sano, who's having a terrific season. And then they lost their starting catcher, which is a real tough blow for a team that relies a lot on pitching and defense.
Robbie Grossman also went on the disabled list recently.
Broken thumb, yeah. He was swinging the bat well. Dietrich Enns, the young pitcher they just got from the Yankees, he too is on the DL. He made a start and then went on the disabled list. So Paul Molitor, he says, you know what, you just deal with the people you have. You can't really pine over players you don't have. This is Brian Dozier. He singled to right center his first time up.
42 home runs last year for Dozier as a second baseman. Incredible.
40 home runs for anybody is pretty incredible. He's only the second Twin to hit 40 home runs. The only other Twin to hit 40 or more home runs, a great Harmon Killebrew. And as a second baseman, the American League record for home runs by a second baseman last year with 42. This is popped up. Montero will give it a look back by the screen and out of play. But when you think about the great home run hitting second baseman, of course, Ryan Sandberg hit 40 with Cubs in 1990. Davey Johnson way back in 73 with the Atlanta Braves and Rogers Hornsby in 1922, of course.
Davey Johnson's is the record, isn't it? 43 home runs.
Yes.
As a second baseman for a season.
So it's a full count to Brian Dozier. He walks up. It's the first walk issued by Jay Happ, a 1-out walk here in the third.
The all-new 2017 Civic Si. When it leads off, it leads for good. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
No score, top of the third inning here at Rogers Center. Minnesota Twins have the second wild card as we speak. The Yankees have the first wild card spot. The Twins have the second wild card spot. Then things get real dicey after that. Not much room between the Twins and then Kansas City, Los Angeles, Seattle, all within a half game of that second wild card spot. Texas is a game back. Tampa Bay, Baltimore 3 back, and then the Blue Jays are at 5 back.
They're going to be all jammed up, I think, all the way till the end of September. So I think if you're a baseball player today and you're one of those teams, you play on one of those teams, just go out there and concentrate on what you have to do today to win a game, and then you'll sort it all out the last week of the season.
Now goes after that inside pitch. It's 1-2.
The last thing you want to do is start thinking about, well, maybe if we do this or if we do that, maybe we can jump over this guy, or forget about it. Just go out there and play baseball.
You see Colon, he's having an impact with everybody even while he's pitching. Irvin Santana and Colon have really brought out the personalities of these young Latin players and really made everybody relax, what you want to do down the stretch. But they've got so much experience and have so much success. I mean, look at Colon. He's just having a blast doing this.
Pitching. How many times have you seen the game's starting pitcher hanging out with the guys on the bench like that? They're usually sitting on the bench and they're all stoic and stone-faced and everything. This guy's having fun playing the game of baseball. And he's imparting his wisdom on all these young players.
I walked through the clubhouse early this afternoon about 4:30, and he had his headset on. And he turned around and gave me a wink, a little thumbs up. No big deal, just pitching another game. Right now he's talking about going up to AT TOR. I could go up there and do that. I know I could. And those other guys will say, "You're crazy."
Walk around it, do the walk around it. You know that's what he's talking about.
Runners going. There's a base hit for Mauer. Dozier's headed for third. He will stop there as Joe Mauer pulls one through the right side. A one-out single. First and third, one out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, he has become their most valuable player in this month of August for sure. He and Rafael Devers have done a terrific job, and of course Dustin Pedroia is out with a knee injury, and Pedroia doesn't sound like he's coming back real soon. So Nunez having to leave that game is a real blow to Boston.
Isn't that interesting? A slide by Manny Machado against Boston in Boston, hurting a second baseman.
Yep. There's a bunt. Buxton bunts it, and Hab's got no play. Byron Buxton, a terrific athlete with that first and third situation, bunted it between the mound and the first baseline. Happ came in and fielded. Smoak came after it as well, and by the time Happ looked at home, no play there, and nobody was at first.
You know, I was watching the runner Brian Dozier. He didn't get a great jump off of third base on this, so they had a shot if he comes up cleanly. Look at that. But he drops the ball after he goes to his knees to field it. And Dozier, surprised, sees that it's down. They have a shot right there. He's about 3 steps from home plate, but Jay drops the ball, and all hands are safe.
Well, it's very easy to convince your team to do the little things when they're fighting for a postseason berth. And the number 3 hitter, Byron Buxton, has been red hot of late. Drops down a beautiful bunt, picks up a base hit and an RBI, and the Twins have the lead. A one-out walk comes in to score, and now Happ catches that outside corner to Eduardo Escobar. Escobar grounded out to third to end the top half of the first inning. Escobar, a switch hitter. Drives this one to right. Aoki is fighting the lights, makes the catch. That ball may have knuckled on him as well. Playing in right field, just the 3rd start in right since he's come to the Blue Jays. The 11th start of the season in right. He played mostly left field for Houston.
I'm throwing a star on that one because there was a lot going on that fly ball to right field. Into the lights, you know it was, and knuckle out there. Usually you catch it about chest high, but that ball moved on him, and Aoki stays with it, looks it into his glove, fights it all the way, but makes the play.
Nice play by Aoki, and right 2 away now. Bauer's at second, Buxton's at first. A run in here in the 3rd inning. Jorge Polanco, he too, like Escobar, a switch hitter. Polanco is just 24 years old. He signed as an amateur free agent with the Twins in 2009. There's a drive to the alley. Pilar is not going to get it. That ball is at the base of the wall. Mauer's in to score, and right behind him is Buxton. And the Twins have put up a 3 spot here in the 3rd inning.
I told you that Polanco's had a great month of August. He came into this game having hit safely at 18 of 21, now 19 of 22. He's also driven in now 15 runs in 10 games. Got to be careful with him at the plate. Slider down and in, and the ball stays in the ballpark, and the Twins had the right guy running back at first base. Buxton can fly. This ball bounces out for a ground rule double. He doesn't score, but it stays in the ballpark, and he scores without a throw. This is a young, athletic type of team, the Minnesota Twins, and they're showing you why.
These young players on the Twins grew up in this system, and they came up through the organization, and they played on winning teams throughout their minor league experience, and they have brought that kind of attitude here with them to the big leagues.
That is so important, growing up together.
If the playoffs were to begin today, every team in the Twins organization, including the big league club, would be in the playoffs. That's how you create winning. You encourage your players to understand it's professional baseball, and the only thing that matters is winning.
For years, that's what the Minnesota Twins were all about.
Because they had a manager, Tom Kelly, that set the tone and would take players off the field if they weren't performing right, and it stuck with a lot of them, and they've been able to pass it on. Ground ball. Rosario bounces to second base. That ends the inning, but the Twins break out on top. They get 3 runs on 3 hits, capped off by Jorge Polanco's 2-run double to the base of the wall in center. Minnesota leads at 3-0.
TD Comfort Zone, our guest from one of TD's community partners. At WestJet Owner's Care, check out WestJet's low fares from Canada to London Gatwick at westjet.com or call your travel agent.
Always a good turnout in the WestJet flight deck here at Rogers Center. It's a Friday night, a nice, comfortable night. A lot of long faces out there right now. The Blue Jays have fallen behind 3-0, but they will be the top of the order here against Colon. Pierce goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Bauer backpedaling into the outfield, and he stays with it. His only error this season came about this time of the night in a ball game where he lost a pop-up in the twilight. It looked like he was having the same problem.
Boy, was he ever, but he was fighting it and fighting it and staying with it. He can smile about it now, but he goes back and forth. Looks like he was doing karaoke exercises in the outfield, but hauls it in for the first down. Yeah, that's his only error. That happened on August the 3rd at home. He squeezes it to get the first out.
He was able to re-grip it before he hit the turf, and that probably saved him from having that ball bounce out of his glove. Bauer's a 3-time Gold Glover, but all those Gold Gloves came while he was catching. Josh Donaldson Now, how can Bartolo Colon have as much success by simply using one pitch?
Basically one pitch, a fastball. Changes speeds with it. Locates it extremely well. That's why. Watch where these pitches are. Very rarely does he throw a ball down the middle of the plate. But he gets a lot of late movement. He can go in and out, up and down with different speeds. And for some reason, batters just have not been able to pick the ball up.
Reached back for a little extra on that one, threw it 91 miles an hour, but he lost his command.
He's so different type of pitcher than he was when he first came up as a young kid. He was a flame-throwing right-hander with a big breaking ball, piling up the strikeouts left and right. But he has reinvented himself.
Donaldson bounces it toward third. Escobar has it. 2 away. Well, Colon is 44 years old, and you look at the MLB's active senior citizens, he leads the pack. He was born on May 24th in '73. Then Ichiro Suzuki, he's 43 years old. R.A. Dickey, former Blue Jay, now pitching with the Braves, 42. And Koji Uehara, who we just saw in Chicago over the weekend, is 42. But it's quite remarkable and certainly worthy of a tip of the cap to those 4 gentlemen that have been able to play Major League Baseball into their 40s.
And play it well. Ichiro Suzuki picked up his 3,000th hit last season when he was 42.
This is Justin Smoak. He had a double to the alley in left center his first time up.
R.A. Dickey's still doing his thing for Atlanta. He has one pitch.
Knuckleball. It looks different every time he throws it. But Colon, he made his debut with the Cleveland Indians. There's a deep drive to left field. Get up, ball! Get up and get out of here! Gone! Home run, Justin Smoak. His 35th of the season, and now he stands alone as the all-time home run leader in franchise history as a switch hitter.
35 home runs in one season. That is a milestone home run for Smoak. Another great approach for Smoak. Last time he doubled to left center field. He's going to do that better this time. Staying back on that pitch. Looked like a sinker that stayed up. RBI number 82 for Justin Smoak. Moki's had a nice day going so far.
Moki's going to want to keep that jersey. High deep drive to center, but Buxton's got a bead on it. Bautista hit it in the air to center, but that's the end of the inning. But the Blue Jays get on the board. Justin Smoak's had a good start to his night. He doubled in the first, and here it's a 2-out home run against Bartolo Colon. His second career home run against Colon. It's 3-1 Minnesota.
Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Great turnout as always here at Rogers Center as the Blue Jays have made it a 3-1 game thanks to Justin Smoak's home run. His home run number 35 for Smoak, 15 more than his career high. What a season. So Mitch Garver, the DH, will lead things on. That comes right back with a first pitch strike to Garver. Garver was drafted by the Twins in 2013 out of the University of New Mexico.
That hotbed of baseball in New Mexico.
Yeah, you don't hear many players coming out of the University of New Mexico, but he has done a nice job working his way up to the big leagues. This is his first call up to the majors.
Tell you what, he looks like he's put together. Strong legs, strong arms. Looks like he could hit a ball a long way.
That misses downstairs. It's 3-1 to the leadoff man. A one-out walk last inning to Brian Dozier started that 3-run rally for Minnesota. Buxton had a bunt RBI single and Jorge Polanco a 2-run double. Fly ball to center. Pilar's on the run at the track and it's going to be off the wall. Bounces away from Pilar. Garver is headed around second. He's going to third. And he will get there with his first big league extra base hit.
That's 3 out of 4 innings now that the leadoff batter has reached base against the Blue Jays. Single by Dozier, a single by Polanco, now a triple from Garver. Told you, he looked like he's a big guy, that he can hit the ball a long way. That ball is just slicing away from Pilar, and Blue Jays don't get a good bounce. That ball ricochets off the scoreboard out there and bounces away from Pilar. Garver knows he has 2, but then when he reads that the ball bounces away from the outfield, he's going to leg it out for a triple.
Well, that'll draw the infield in with Max Kepler at the plate. He hits a fly ball in the alley in left field. Pierce gets there, makes the catch, tagging and coming in to score is Mitch Garver as Kepler picks up the sac fly on the first pitch of his at bat. Very difficult to pitch around the leadoff triple, and it's now 4-1 Minnesota.
Didn't take long for him to get that run back. Situational hitting after taking advantage of that ball off the wall, picking up an extra 90 feet going to third base. Kepler picks him up with the sac fly. That's his 55th RBI.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. And if you're not familiar with Max Kepler, he was born in Berlin, Germany. And he has done a nice job. That is his German name, and he has taken his mother's maiden name as his baseball career name. Kepler.
Yeah, I see his name in some of the stats pack. Kepler Raz.
Yeah, Razicki. So he is honoring his German name. Terrific story. He went to high school in Berlin, John F. Kennedy High School in Berlin. Baseball is truly becoming a worldwide game. Today we saw a young 16-year-old that the Blue Jays signed from Brazil.
16-year-old pitcher, and we saw a 16-year-old hitter who was hitting them into the Blue Jays bullpen. Youngster with some bat speed.
Last time we saw a youngster like that swinging the bat at a young age here at Rogers Center, it was Vladdy Guerrero Jr. The Blue Jays signed that 16-year-old Brazilian pitcher. Eric Pardino. And he threw today through a side session, and all reports were pretty positive. Jimenez strikes out. That's the second out of the inning. This is Pardino. He's 16 years old. He's from Brazil, and he's 5'11". Not really that big, but he's 16. I mean, he's liable to go 3 or 4 more inches before he's playing professional baseball. But he threw in the bullpen, and Josue Pele caught him, and he's the interpreter that works with the Blue Jays. He said, I never would have guessed he was 16 after watching his fastball.
You know, I never like to get too excited about radar readings or anything like that, but at 16 I heard he is throwing in the 90s, low 90s.
Dozier hits a fly ball to center. Pilar gets there, but Minnesota gets another run. Mitch Garver, the DH, with his first big league extra base hit, comes in to score on the sac fly by Max Kepler.
SN presents 40 in 40 greatest Blue Jays. Our panel of baseball experts voted and will reveal the top 40 Blue Jays since 1977. Jamie Campbell, Jerry Howarth, Stephen Brunt, and Jeff Blair host 40 in 40 Sunday 4 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet.
Pretty interesting study to determine the top 40 players in 40 years of Blue Jays baseball. And that'll be an interesting watch on Sunday. So make sure you tune in. 4-1 Minnesota. Miguel Montero take a first pitch outside. Montero goes by the nickname Monty. Obvious reasons. Another fly ball to center. Buxton a couple of steps back. Now he's got a read on. Boy, Buxton's one of those center fielders where he makes a quick determination where the ball is going to come down, and then he gets to that spot, kind of like Devon White. When Devon White used to run, he'd look away from the ball. How many times you remember, as you played with him, where Devo would take one look at the ball, turn,
run to a spot,
turn around, and then put his glove about chest high and catch it.
I'll tell you what, if the ball stayed in the ballpark, Devo was going to catch it. You can say the same thing about this guy right here. If it stays in the ballpark, he's going to figure out a way to catch it. I have seen so many highlight reel film great catches from him at target field. It's big center field.
Big ballpark.
And he runs them down.
Kevin Pilar up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Pilar's 2 for 2. He smoked a hot shot off the second baseman's hand for his first hit. Now he's got a ground ball into center.
Tell you what, he is looking like the Pilar we saw the first 6 weeks of the season. Not a lot of movement, staying still, recognizing the pitch early, and then shooting it through. for his second hit, just out of the reach of the shortstop Polanco.
Kevin had the game-winning home run on Wednesday night against the Rays. Came in the 8th inning, a leadoff home run off Tommy Hunter. Nori Aoki takes his strike. Kevin Pillar with 2 hits against Colon is now 5 for 7 against Bartolo. Bounced into dirt, picked by Mauer. It is Players Weekend. The alternate uniforms, the players are able to wear their nicknames on their back. As you saw, Byron Buxton's got the colorful socks on in center. Players can custom design their spikes. They've ordered custom colored bats. And a lot of interesting aspects of this weekend 3-game series all around baseball. That almost got away from Mauer. And 2, if you want to look at the MLB.com at Bat app, all of the box scores have the nicknames of the players. When you highlight the player's name in that MLB at Bat, Mitch Moreland, for instance, he's 2 bags for his double abilities. So you can go all over baseball and look at the nicknames of the various players. Andrew Benintendi, of course, his nickname is Benny.
It's a great promotion. You know, it's promoting the game for the youth baseball, and they're going to get something out of it also. They're going to auction off these uniforms at the end of this weekend, after this weekend, and all the money raised is going to go to charity.
0-2. Base hit into left field. Pillar is going to turn and go to third, and the throw is offline, and Aoki goes into second. Good job by Kevin Pillar. Rosario, who had a great year last year with outfield assist, has not thrown that well this season. And Pillar takes advantage of it. And following suit, Aoki goes into second on the throw.
You know, and not a real smart player when it comes to where to throw the baseball. Not really much of a chance to get Pillar because Kevin read it perfectly. The outfielder's going away from third base, so he really doesn't have a chance to get Pillar at third base. When the throw is offline, Aoki's going to run with his head up and see that that ball is going to be offline at third base. So instead of a double play possibility, that's taken out by the wide throw.
That's the one thing that the Twins haven't done so well. They cut down on their errors, but they still make the fundamental mistakes. That ball should have gone to second. Goins now with 2 runners in scoring position.
Well, you know what that means.
He's going to get a hit.
Yeah, single to center field.
Nobody has done it better for the Blue Jays than Ryan Goins, delivering big hits.
Just thinking about just putting that ball up the middle.
Gogo is 6 for his last 14 with runners in scoring position. And he ranks 11th in the American League, batting with runners in scoring position.
Here's how he describes it to me. He says, I'm just trying to tap that ball back through the middle. I'm just going to try and get in 1 run. The pressure is on the pitcher to come to me. I'm not going to overswing. You see how he's choked up just a little bit. This should be a good matchup for him.
1-1 from Colon. Again, another high pitch, and Gogo fouled it back. Well, this is such a good RBI situation. We saw the sac fly by Max Kepler in the top of the inning. Just a routine fly ball to the left. So as a hitter, you say, okay, ground ball up the middle. Once it gets past the pitcher, that's an RBI. Fly ball to the outfield, that's an RBI. And if I should be fortunate enough to get a base hit, it's 2.
You know what you don't want to do with 2 strikes and think fly ball is big. have a big swing, saying, I got to get that ball deep into the outfield to score a run. Just a good, solid swing will get the trick done.
Laid off that outside pitch.
Ryan is choking up just a little bit more now with 2 strikes, trying to get that back control to be able to reach that high pitch if he goes up there.
He's checking the distance of how far he's gone up the handles. He mentioned earlier to us that he had been paying attention to Joey Votto, who has choked up most of his career. Checked his swing on that outside pitch. It'll be interesting to see what Colon does here. Obviously, he's going to throw a fastball, but is he going to try to throw a strike?
I bet you he tries to throw one up, or one of those fast comeback fastballs that start inside and come back over the inside part of the plate.
Barney is on deck. Pilar's at third. Aoki's at second. Goins at the plate with a full count. Fly ball popped up, not deep. Buxton coming on. The center fielder makes the catch, and look at this throw right to the cutoff man in the middle of the diamond. So Goins pops out to shallow center. The runners have to hold. That's the second out of the inning. Bartolo Colon really feeling the pressure of this inning.
Yeah.
He just walked back to the mound, flipped the ball up, caught it in his bare hand, and said, okay, next. Imagine playing like that. That relaxed your whole career. Confident. Hey, it's a game, and I applaud him for his approach and his longevity.
Yeah, he's been doing it forever. He was out of the game a couple of times. He was released this year by Atlanta.
Darwin Barney takes one upstairs for ball 1.
And he got a phone call from his now teammate Irvin Santana saying, hey, we'd like to sign you. It was a recruiting call. After a couple of calls and checking in with the agent, he signs with Minnesota.
Barney shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 1-1 now.
He signs with Minnesota to keep his career going.
See how tense he is?
Yeah, he looks tense, doesn't he?
Barney fights off that inside pitch. 1-2. Base hit right here will probably score 2. Pilar's at third. Aoki's at second. They both single.
Very fundamentally sound is Aoki at second base. He's getting a big lead and then a big secondary lead. He's off on the swing. Both the middle infielders not concerned with Aoki at second base. They're playing deep to try and knock the ball down.
Another pitch off the plate inside. Too close to take. Staying inside. Those last 3 pitches off the plate inside.
Yeah, each one of them keeps going a little bit further inside, a little bit further inside. And each time Darwin Barney says, I can't let this one go. This is where Colon then, after he's thrown that pitch 3 times on the inside part of the plate, he might go up and away now just to try something different.
Colon set. 1-2 pitch.
Nope, he said one more time. That one in just a little bit further.
Joe Favre, to Molitor's right, is the bench coach, and he has served many roles on this team. He's been the hitting coach, he's been a third base coach, now he's the bench coach. Colon steps off the rubber. It's almost as if he wants the hitter to think maybe he's going to throw me a different pitch. It's not happening.
Don't count on him. Right. He'll throw the same pitch, but in a different location. This time it looks like he might be going away.
Barney drills it to center. Buxton is there, and he runs it down. Darwin Barney hit it right on the button, but Byron Buxton with a great range. And the Blue Jays leave a pair. So we'll go to the fifth, 4-1 Twins. Now time for a Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Kevin Marker from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Enter Sonnet's Get in the Action contest for a chance to win the ultimate Blue Jays fan weekend. To enter, go to bluejays.com/Sonnet contest, guys.
Thank you very much, Sean McKenzie. And the Blue Jays trying to get back in this game as it's a 4-1 lead for the Twins and Bartolo Colon. Joe Mauer would lead things off. He singled and scored back in the third. Mauer called out on strikes his first time up. Mauer just doesn't swing at that first pitch. He has the lowest swing percentage in the majors. He swings just 7% of the time. So if I'm pitching, I got to throw one right down the middle. Just get ahead of him, get a free strike.
This is the modern day Wade Boggs. Remember Boggsy? Everything, you throw strike one, he'd take it, no problem, and then do this.
This ball is going to get down and split the outfielders and go up against the wall. One hops the wall in left center, and Joe Mauer has his second hit of the night, his 24th double. Leads things off, and for the fifth straight inning, the Twins have had their leadoff man on. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Indeed incredible, and Pat, what's the question of the day?
I'm not even going to ask it anymore.
Bautista doesn't have a play as Buxton drops down a perfect bunt. He is 2 for 2, and they have both been bunts. This one pushes Mauer to third, and that's going to get the Blue Jays bullpen up and working.
You had an idea that he might bunt again. Lead off double. Let's see if we can get him to third, score a run. You got to get 2 runs to beat me. It's such a perfect bunt, even if Jose Bautista comes up with it and makes a strong throw, you're not going to get him. He runs too fast. So the Twins are in business again.
And Buxton has 23 stolen bases. He's only been caught once. So the Twins threatening to add to their early lead. Leadoff double and a bunt base hit. Nobody out. Eduardo Escobar takes one up and away.
We were talking about Joe Mauer when he was hitting, taking first pitches and not afraid to take that first pitch. Good hitters are not afraid to hit with 1 strike. You've seen it for years and years. Guys want to take a look at a pitcher, see what they have. They're not afraid to hit with 1 strike. Joe Mauer is, I think, in that category.
How many times in your youth did you watch the Reds and watch Pete Rose watch that first pitch right back into the catcher's glove?
Right.
Never even thinking about falling behind. Just wanted to see it.
Just wanted to see what it looked like that day. Not afraid to hit with 1 strike.
Buxton has a big lead at first. Not running. Escobar fouls it back. Boy, you talk about athleticism, and again, Kevin Barker talked about Pilar going first to third and forced Rosario into a bad play by trying to throw him out at third. But the threat of a steal here now serves as a distraction to Happ. Montero, it's been well documented, has not thrown well all season long from behind the plate.
And that might buy a few more fastballs too for the batter. You're going to get them first of all from Jay Happ. But fastballs, just to give that catcher an extra second to try and throw the runner out if he goes.
Not running here. Pulled foul. But you're right. Just the threat of a steal when your club is already down by 3 is really a distraction. Aaron Luke begins to loosen up for the Blue Jays. There goes the runner. Ball's bounced in front of home. There'll be no throw. And Buxton slides in safely with his 24th stolen base of the season, the 2nd for the Twins tonight.
Picked on a good pitch. Picked on the right pitch. Watch him take off. It's a breaking ball. He's not even looking in. So that is a straight steal for Buxton. And now the infield has to come halfway.
There's a fly ball deep to center. That'll score a run. Mauer's tagging at third. Buxton's tagging at second. They'll both move up as Mauer comes in to score. Escobar with the sac fly, the 2nd sacrifice fly of the night for Minnesota. And it's a 5-1 game.
Twins are looking like their manager when it comes to manufacturing runs. They've been hitting a lot of home runs in the month of August, but they're playing good situational offense. Double, infield hit, stolen base, sac fly, get them over, get them in, and now the infield has to come in. That's how Paul Molitor was as a player.
Absolutely. And you know that they're going to play the contact play here. They're going to force the Blue Jays to make a play.
You got the right runner at third base, your fastest runner. He's not getting much of a lead at third base.
Jorge Polanco batting with 1 out. Buxton advancing to third on the sacrifice fly. Mauer came in to score. And gave Buxton an extra stolen base. That stolen base was his 23rd of this season.
Been thrown out 1 time. 1 time. That's good use of the stolen base.
outside. 1-2 to Polanco. The shortstop's already 2 for 2. He had a 2-run double in the third inning. He strikes out. Happ strikes him out. That's 5 strikeouts for Happ. Second out of the inning.
That's a big one. He's able to go upstairs again. Polanco's 2 hits were balls that were down, so Jay Happ goes upstairs to pick up that strikeout. It's a big one. Now he's got to leave that runner over at third base.
Left fielder Eddie Rosario is a left-handed hitter, so Happ has the advantage here. He can try to end the inning and leave that runner at third. First pitch is popped out of play. Tell you one thing, the rest of the Twins, they don't follow the lead by Joe Mauer. They're swinging. Mauer's taking on that first pitch, not the rest of his teammates.
No, they are up there swinging, and it's worked for them. They've had a great month of August. Came into this game, just this month, they've had 32 doubles and 41 home runs coming into this game.
Jay Happ has had his problems in the past with the Minnesota Twins. Coming into this game, he's 0-3 in his last 3 starts against the Twins. That goes back to June of 2014. Upstairs, Jay Happ's working on an extra day's rest. He last pitched last Friday against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He was charged with 5 earned runs on 9 hits.
Blue Jays with an off day on Monday, wanting to give him an extra day this late in the season.
This is popped up and playable. Bautista, the third baseman, into foul ground, makes the catch, and that's the inning. But for 5 straight innings, the Twins have had their leadoff man reach. They score another run here in the 5th and have a 5-1 lead for Bartolo Colon. Bottom of the 5th, and he has been a terrific pitcher for a long time. His career started in 1997, and he was born in the Dominican Republic. And when you look at the most wins by Dominican-born pitchers, Juan Marichal, the Hall of Famer, with 243. Colon is second. Pedro Martinez, also a Hall of Famer, he has 219, and then Irvin Santana, who is a teammate of Colon's, has 146. Santana, a terrific pitcher, and the Twins They lost 3 out of the 5 games in Chicago, and Santana and Barrios, their 2 best pitchers, both lost.
Against the last place team, the Chicago White Sox. Colon now with 238 career wins. He passed Hall of Famer Wade Hoyt for 57th most all time. David Wells and Three Finger Brown are next with 239 wins. He's climbing.
Steve Pearce batting for a 3rd time has grounded out and popped out. That's going to slice foul. Colon pitching in the 5th inning, and this has been a tough inning for him this season. His ERA in the 5th inning, 12.15. The opponents have hit .403 in the 5th inning. His whip is 2.40, so this is an inning where he has had his problems this season.
It usually means he's facing the lineup for the 3rd time, and that's exactly what is happening here in the top of the 5th. Blue Jays' best hitters are coming up, so that's 2 sliders he has thrown to Pearce in this at bat. The first 2 that I can recall tonight.
Yeah, he has thrown a few more lately than normal. He will throw one from time to time, and already he's thrown 2 in this at bat. Little tapper right back to the mound. Pearce is thrown out and 1 away.
So you can see why he has had problems in the 5th inning. 3rd time through, and it's usually the top of the lineup, and that's where the best hitters reside.
Colon will work to Josh Donaldson, who has grounded out to 2nd and grounded out to 3rd. Donaldson is the DH tonight. Ground out to short. Another ground ball. Colon gets him on 1 pitch. Justin Smoak will step up with 2 outs and nobody on, and that was the situation back in the 3rd.
Well, he doubled his first time up with 2 outs and nobody on in the 1st, and then in the 3rd he does a little bit better by driving his 35th home run out of the ballpark to left field. That swing, that beautiful swing the other way. I think that's the approach that you have to have against Bartolo Colon if you're a left-handed hitter tonight.
35 home runs for the season for Smoak. And that's a significant number. It is the most home runs hit by a Blue Jays switch hitter in franchise history, passing Jose Cruz Jr., who had 34 in 2001. But it's also the most home runs by a switch hitter since Mark Teixeira in 2011. Teixeira had 39 with the Yanks.
I like his chances.
Colon saved 93 for Smoak.
That's what I mean about changing speeds with the fastball. The first one was 88. It'll get me over fastball, and then 93. See what he does here. 0-2.
88. Well, Colon, he remembers a double and a home run, and they were both on sinkers away, and Smoak stayed on him. 1-2, 2 outs. Going away again. Jimenez tried to sell it to the home plate umpire, Chris Siegel.
You know, when he first came up, everything was max effort. Remember? I mean, he's got the great pitcher's body with the bill, with the legs, the big powerful legs, and everything was max effort. Now, as he is older, he can change speeds with that fastball, move it around.
A changeup, it bounced it on the plate. It's a full count. Smoak is also the 15th different Jay to hit at least 35 home runs in a season. Of course, that guy's done it a couple of different times. Jose Bautista. He'll bat next if Smoak can reach base. We had a good cut at that one.
He wanted to go inside, and it floated back out over the plate.
Colon actually shaking pitches off. He's got a pitch on his mind, and it's not the fastball. They throw him a breaking ball and walks him. So Jose Bautista will step to the plate. He's 0 for 2 so far, but he's always hit well against Minnesota, as these numbers will suggest. The highest slugging percentage since 1961 against Minnesota. Bautista has the best percentage of all.
.752 slugging percentage. That's not slugging percentage plus on-base percentage. That's just slugging percentage all by himself. He has been known to hit some home runs against the Twins.
And after that high pitch,
Sammy Sosa, I knew on that. I knew Geronimo Barroa, and I knew Mark Teixeira. Did not know Lou Clinton. Buck, you told me you played against him.
Yeah, Lou Clinton played for a while, and obviously had a great run against the Minnesota Twins. Lou Clinton played with Boston, played with California Angels, and that's going to do it. Bautista bounces into a fielder's choice. That ends the inning. Blue Jays get a 2-out walk and nothing more. Bartolo Colon and the Twins have a 5-1 lead as we head to the 6th.
Wayne Rooney and Everton catch that Sunday on Sportsnet. It's Sunday, August 27th.
Thank you very much, Sean. Great Premier League soccer action on Sunday. Make sure you check that out. The Blue Jays haven't been able to get much going against Bartolo Colon. They have a run on 6 hits. Minnesota has 5 runs on 8 hits. Weston Smoak has the only home run of the ball game. He's responsible for the Blue Jays run. Mitch Garver picked up his first Major League extra base hit in his last at-bat, a triple, a leadoff triple in the 4th. The Twins have had their leadoff man on in 4 of the 5 innings of this ball game. The only inning they didn't have their leadoff man on, Jimenez flew out in the 3rd, and then Dozier walked, Mauer singled, Buxton singled, and after a fly ball, Polanco had a 2-run double.
Garver getting the start tonight versus the lefty. Just recalled last week at 300 against lefties down in the minor league. That's why Paul Molitor has him in the lineup tonight at DH. He looks like Matt Holliday, doesn't he, at the plate?
A big, thick body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He hits that ball into the seats, foul. These names on the nicknamed uniforms had to be submitted by August 11th, and Garver wasn't with the team, so the guys that didn't submit a nickname, they just have their surname on there.
Doesn't mean they don't have a nickname. Just means that they got up to the big leagues after August the 11th. They had to have it submitted so it can be approved, and then get the uniforms up here, these late call-ups.
Yeah, the baseball teams in general, I mean, they've got alternate uniforms for just about everything. That's Irvin Santana. On the back of his jersey, he has Magic. In the Dominican Republic, Irvin was a terrific basketball player as a kid, and his idol was Magic Johnson. It's also interesting, his real name is Johan Santana, and he decided to change it to Irvin so he wouldn't confuse people about the first Johan Santana, the pitcher with the Twins. He changed his name to Irvin in honor of Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. That's Magic Johnson's given name, Irvin. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, Colon, they've had an ongoing conversation all game long. Talking to Molitor and some of the coaches with the Twins, they say they have really done a terrific job with some of these younger Latin players on their team, encouraging them to really enjoy this pennant race, trying to get into that wild card berth.
Sano, Miguel Sano, the young Latin player who is on the disabled list, especially Colon. They have become very tight. That's the starting pitcher.
Having a good time. And I guess you would have a good time as well if you were pitching in your 20th season in the major leagues and had as much success as Bartolo Colon.
I'd be sitting down and resting my legs.
That's not him.
That's not him.
I tell you what, he's entertaining everybody on that bench, isn't he?
Molitor says he doesn't take himself too seriously.
He compared him as far as a leader to Kirby Puckett, but he said he does it in such a different fashion. Kirby was all over the clubhouse, and you could hear him wherever he was, and always encouraging his teammates, but Colon does it in a very quieter manner.
He had a great line too, Molitor, when he says that. He does it in a different way. I just think it's a little bit more subtle, Molitor said. It's kind of ongoing throughout the day. Might be at the lunch table, which he visits a couple of times.
Max Kepler takes it up and away. It's a full countdown. Top of the 6th inning with 1 out. Minnesota has a 5-1 lead. Dominic Leone has joined Aaron Loup. Loup is ready. He threw last inning, and he's up again. Kepler strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Happ here in the 6th.
Canada's favorite car cheers for Canada's favorite team, Honda. Proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Rogers Center is filled with a lot of great Blue Jays fans here tonight. That's Bill Miller, the crew chief of this umpiring crew. He's down at first base, and he will move behind the plate tomorrow afternoon. Chris Jimenez, he has bounced around. Last year, He was part of the Cleveland Indians as he was part of that World Series team. He wasn't active for the postseason as Yan Gomes came back, and they had Roberto Perez and Yan Gomes as their catching tandem, but he was with them throughout the World Series. He has played with Cleveland in 3 different stints. He was originally signed by the Indians in 2004, and then he was a free agent, just bounced around since.
That's why when he came out for batting practice today, saw Mark Shapiro, president of the Blue Jays, who was down on the field today, and they said their hellos from their days with the Indians organization.
It was quite an interesting day as Mark Shapiro's father, Ron Shapiro, was here. There's also an interesting guy here. There's Ron on the far right. Mark's father is a terrific player agent and one of the best in the business. 3-2 pitch. Fly ball into center field. This is dropping quickly, and Pilar is going to get there and make the running catch. So Happ retires the side in order in the 6th. First time he's done that tonight. Now over to the hitters trying to make up this 5-1 deficit. Blue Jays baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. Friday night at Rogers Center, Blue Jays are trailing 5-1 as they're set to bat at the bottom of the 6th. Bartolo Colon on the mound has allowed just 1 run on 6 hits. The only run, the home run by Justin Smoak, that was in the 3rd inning. Colon has gone at least 6 innings in 4 of his previous 5 starts. Montero goes after the first pitch and rips it into center. Montero's first hit, it's the leadoff single here in the 6th.
Colon had a complete game 4 starts ago against the Texas Rangers on August the 4th.
9 innings. 9 whole innings.
9 innings. 63 wins since he's turned 40 years old. That's a sinker that stays up. Montero's had some good swings against Colon tonight. He's flown out a couple of times to center field. This time bangs it back through the middle. Here's another hitter who's had some good swings against Colon coming up for the Blue Jays.
Kevin Pillar's 2 for 2. Drills this one to center, but that's going to be right at the center fielder. Pilar has been on everything Colon has thrown him. 1 away. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts, available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. 1 out, bottom of the 6th. Noriaoki is 1 for 2. He had a single to left field. Pilar went first to third on that base hit, and Aoki ended up at second. But they were both stranded as Colon got Goins and Barney to end that 4th inning. Last season, the Blue Jays won 6 of 7 games they have played against the Twins. In fact, since 2010, the Blue Jays are 34-14 against Minnesota. That's the best record by one team against another opponent during that time. So John Gibbons is not used to trailing this Minnesota Twins team to this point of a ball game. Paul Molitor's in his 3rd season at the helm of the Minnesota Twins. Of course, he played for both the Twins and the Blue Jays. Aoki lifts a pop-up. Left side of the infield, the shortstop Polanco calls for it and makes the catch. We mentioned a great run the Blue Jays have had since 2010 against Minnesota. And when you think about what they have done, and you can see since 2006, Blue Jays against Minnesota have the best winning percentage, and there's some other outstanding matchups. The Dodgers over the Reds, Yankees against Minnesota as well, and Arizona over Houston. Some dominance.
Lopsided. Blue Jays have been around for 40 years, right? Do you know how many wins the Twins have all time here in Toronto in 40 years? 71. They've also lost 115 times.
Base hit for Goins up the middle. Montero has to stop at second, so Goins has his 2nd hit of the ball game.
Andres Morales has grabbed a bat, and John Gibbons is saying, you know what, this might be the time to use him right here. He hasn't had a lot of luck against or success against Bartolo Colon in his career.
He is just 4 for 23 against Colon, and that's why he didn't start tonight. His numbers weren't that good against Colon. And with that, Neil Allen, the pitching coach, has come out of the dugout as he's going to have a chat. Bucinich, the right-hander, Alan Bucinich, is throwing, and he's getting loose in a hurry. He's got a big fastball, averages 96 miles an hour with that heater, and he's trying to get hot in a hurry. But Colon will have to face Morales now, as Neil Allen has made a visit to the mound. And that visit, you can see the smile, like, what do you want me to do, throw him a fastball? That's what I throw, coach. Once again, the tension is mounting in Colon's makeup.
Again, Morales.
Don't you love it?
Yeah.
It's a game. Play the game. He's having a blast.
He's playing the game of baseball like he did when he was a teenager. He's just having fun at it.
Morales steps up as the pinch hitter. Two outs, 2 on. Fastball strike. Momo is his nickname, and Morales this season as a pinch hitter, just 1 for 7. But he's got power. Ground ball. Going to be a tough play from the outfield. Dozier throws Morales out there, and the Blue Jays again strand a pair of base runners. They have left 8 on so far in this ball game, and they trail 5-1.
In style, the Acura Luxury Suites are for you. Perfect for entertaining clients, corporate functions, or outings with family and friends. They entertain from 16 to 300 guests. Our account executives will find the package that best suits your needs. For more information, call 416-341-1635 or go to bluejays.com/luxury suites. Buck.
Great opportunity to celebrate a birthday, an anniversary, maybe a wedding reception party. Come on out to Rogers Center and get one of those big suites and enjoy a great time watching the ball game. New pitcher into the ball game for the Blue Jays is the hard-throwing right-hander Dominic Leone, and he's had quite a season here with the Blue Jays.
He's done a heck of a job. Batter's hitting just over 200. It doesn't matter if you're right-handed or left-handed. He is averaging a strikeout an inning. He's undefeated at 3-0. He's also now worked 5 out of the last 6 games for the Blue Jays. So John Gibbons using him a lot lately. Rob Refsnyder will come in to play second base after Darwin Barney, the starter, was pinch hit for it.
Leone will work to the top of the order. Brian Dozier, the second baseman, has a base hit, a walk, and a flyout. We mentioned Dozier's great season a year ago, 42 home runs. And he gets on top of that high heater and hooks it into left field. Pierce has to jump up and makes a nice play to keep Dozier at first. The ball gets away from Smoak, and Smoak makes the play. It got away from Refsnyder, and Smoak was backing it up. A leadoff single for Dozier, his second hit.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by Samsung QLED TV. Experience Canada's team in all the colors of the game with the next innovation in TV.
Night is upon us here in Toronto as the Twins have a 5-1 lead as they bat into 7th. Another leadoff man reaches. 6 of 7 innings they've had the leadoff man aboard. Joe Mauer's 2 for 3.
Dominic Leone pitched in yesterday's ball game down at Tampa Bay, and he was lights out. He faced 3 batters and struck all 3 of them out swinging. Had that electric fastball going, and that slider was working. And he's working back-to-back days.
You can see Dom's got his nickname on his back. Dominic Leone. They call him Dom. The Players Weekend, and players can choose to wear their nickname on their back. Mauer beaten with that inside heater. You wonder how good Joe Mauer is? He has the seventh highest batting average among active players. For his career, his batting average coming into this game, 307.
Boy,
the leader
impressive.
is Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, Cabrera's got to be up there. Ichiro's got to be up there somewhere.
Ichiro's fourth.
Pujols has got to be somewhere, I would think.
Pujols is
Altuve.
eighth. He's right behind Mauer.
Jose Altuve, Mike Trout, great hitters in baseball.
Mauer strikes out. Good moving fastball as Leon gets the first out of the inning. Yeah, the top hitters, Cabrera, Altuve, Votto, Ichiro, Buster Posey, Mike Trout, Joe Mauer, Albert Pujols. Number 9 might be a surprise. Batting 305, Charlie Blackmon. 9th active hitter, Robinson Cano, is 10. There are only 14 300 hitters active in all of baseball. Cano is 10th, Ryan Braun is 11th, DJ LeMahieu is 12th, and then Paul Goldschmidt and Dustin Pedroia are tied. It's a who's who of hitters for sure. Byron Buxton is 2 for 3, 2 bunt singles. Boy, he's a good-looking player. Just 23 years old, and they kind of rushed him to the big leagues and gave him a chance to start a couple of years ago. He was overmatched. They drafted him out of high school, and he came out of Appling County High School in Georgia. He was a 2nd overall pick by the Twins in 2012. This is his 3rd season, but his first full season, and now you can start to see the athleticism of Byron Buxton.
First player taken that year, Carlos Correa by the Houston Astros. Everybody thought the Astros were going to take Buxton. That was left for the Twins, and they've developed him, brought him up here, and he had his troubles hitting when he first came up. Had a big September for him last year. They thought that was going to transition into this year, and he got off to a tough start. But lately, he's eliminated his leg kick. He's hitting a lot quieter, if you will, at the plate.
Came into this game with a .298 average for the month of August with 5 home runs. He's also hit .375 in the month with runners in scoring position. So things are starting to click for Byron Buxton. Two and two. There goes the runner. Cut on and missed. And Montero won't make a throw as he dropped the baseball. So Leon gets another strikeout. Dozier gets another stolen base. That's 3 stolen bases tonight for Minnesota.
Power.
For Dozier, it's 13 steals.
Yeah, he's only been thrown out 6 times. Power and speed. That's what you've got with some of these Twins players. Dominic Leone piling up the strikeouts. His last 5 outs all recorded via the strikeouts.
Struck out the side into 6th against the Rays yesterday.
The last time he allowed an out, if you will, on a batted ball was a fly ball. That was 3 games ago.
Eduardo Escobar batting left-handed for the first time tonight. He goes after that first pitch. Another guy that doesn't follow the lead of Joe Mauer. He's hacking. Joe Mauer, a couple more hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. He scored twice. Paul Molitor has him in the 2 spot, and that's been a trend around baseball. Most teams will put their best hitter in that 2 spot, and Miami has taken off since Giancarlo Stanton moved up into the 2 hole.
Giancarlo Stanton has taken off since he's been put in that 2 hole. 2 more bombs again tonight.
Stanton has 49 home runs and 105 RBIs, and it's not September. Ball in his strike, a runner in scoring position. Now it's strike 2. Not much offense for the Blue Jays tonight. They haven't been able to get much going. The only run coming on Justin Smoak's 35th home run of the season. Got on top of that high fastball and stays alive. 95 from Leon upstairs.
Yeah, again, he has worked now in 5 of the past 6 games, and he's still chucking it in there at 95. Pretty impressive. And a good hard slider.
Good slider, tough ball to lay off of, but Escobar did. They got a core of good-looking young players, and they got a nice group that they have developed together. Breaking ball pulled on the right side. Ref Snyder goes to first in time, and Leon gives up a leadoff single and nothing more. The Blue Jays need some runs, and they'll send the top of the order up. Steve Pearce, the leadoff man. He's 0 for 3 so far. Josh Donaldson's the DH. He's taking the collar. Justin Smoak, he's 2 for 3 with a home run. Top of the order coming up when we come back. They are in the second wild card spot, and we look at the remaining games on their schedule. The teams that they will play that are over 500 as we speak, there are only 13 of those games. Teams under 500, including 6 more games against the Blue Jays. They have 22 such games. So their schedule is quite favorable. And Molitor knows that you just keep plugging away. You can't get too much ahead of yourself. But right now, they have that second wild card berth.
They have some big road trips in the month of September at Tampa, at Kansas City for 4, at the Yankees, and their last road series at Cleveland. That might be the division right there.
Cleveland, of course, they have a comfortable lead, 5.5 games over the Twins. But Paul Molitor says, you know what, we worry about what we can take care of and look at the game at hand. After this series, the Twins will have a Monday off, and then they will welcome in the White Sox and the Royals on a homestand before they go to Tampa Bay, as you mentioned. Pearce is behind 0-2.
93. Still got it. You know what? He hasn't struck anybody out tonight, but that's just fine for Bartolo Colon. He was a fireballer when he was a youngster, had a lot of strikeouts. Now it's about command and control and get in and get out. Only at 83 pitches.
The essence of pitching. Throw strikes, change speeds, hit your spots. Another high fastball. Another 90-mile-an-hour heater. He's going to hurt himself if he continues to throw that hard. He is a big man. He's listed at 5'11". He's not really tall, but boy, he's a stout man, and he has obviously kept himself in great shape. He's a portly guy. There's no getting around it.
He's got great mechanics. Yep. Great mechanics, and he's strong. He uses those legs, those big, strong legs, to push off that mound and go downhill.
He has 238 career wins. He is the active leader among pitchers in wins. He is 5 wins ahead of CC Sabathia. Sabathia started. He's in a 1-0 game on the wrong side of that game against Seattle tonight. Pierce hits it to first. Mauer will go to the bag and beat Pierce 1 away. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. And Tampa Bay obviously trying to stay in this playoff hunt as well. Jake Odorizzi, the starter for Tampa Bay. Evan Longoria's 2 for 2 as he's trying to shake off a month-long slump. He hit for the cycle on August 1st and hadn't done much since. Steven Souza Jr. has his 28th home run tonight. The Blue Jays continue to keep him hot.
Get him hot.
Josh Donaldson is grounded out to the second baseman, the third baseman, and the shortstop. I spoke to Josh today about this recent surge and how well he is seeing it. He said, you know, I've got a lot of moving parts and I've got to stay limber. And I'm loose and I can get my bat in the right position. I drop that back elbow and that bat gets into a good position. He feels good right now. And obviously the results reflect that.
9 home runs since August the 4th. He's just a good player.
Sooner or later, good players are going to figure it out, no matter how they start. Hitting .315 with 11 homers in the month of August. He's behind Colon. 1-2. 87, 91, 83, 94, back and forth.
Can you remember a ball down the middle of the plate?
No.
I don't. I remember everything being on the corners.
Popped up a mile high. Third baseman is there as Escobar really had to show his athleticism as that ball blew back toward the field. Time now for the drive of the game, brought to you by the powerful all-new 2017 Civic Type R.
Well, the Blue Jays have 1 run, and it's thanks to Justin Smoak again. Back in the 3rd inning, taking this pitch from Bartolo Colon and connecting to dead center field, collecting his 35th home run of the season, touches the plate with tonight's drive of the game.
Smoak is 2 for 2 with a walk, doubled in the first, homered in the third, and walked in the 5th. Again, he's hitting with 2 outs and nobody on. Tough time of the year to raise your average. He began this game at 287. He's 2 for 2, and he's only gained 3 points.
So many at bats. When you play every day, and Smokey's played pretty much every day this season. There was a couple of games where he was DHing and Kendrys Morales was over at first base, but for the most part, John Gibbons has penciled in Justin Smoak over at first base.
Inside for Mookie. He has a career high of 483 at-bats in 2012. He's 2 for 2 tonight. He's got 451 this season with about 30 games left in the season.
Down and away. Look at none of them inside the box there. That represents the strike zone.
He has the ability to throw. Look at him turning around, telling the second baseman what he's going to throw next.
What should I throw? Change up here?
Change up.
What do you think? Tell me what you think here, Polanco. Man.
Fastball hit like a bullet past Dozier into right. Justin Smoak is 3 for 3. And Bartolo Colon wants to know, how are you doing it, man? Smoak's had a perfect night. 3 hits and a walk.
You know, that is really refreshing to watch a player have fun at his craft. He's been doing it forever. Dozier can't come up with that one, thinks he should do it. But Colon going over there, having something to say to Smoak and telling him, hey, man, I've been facing you a long time. Good swing. That was a good-looking swing. You've had a good night. Well, so has Bartolo Colon, because it looks like it might be over.
So Paul Molitor with that walk out of the dugout. So Colon pitches into the 7th. And it looks like he's pitching in the playground. He's in line for his 239th career win. He'll leave with a 4-run lead. Another good effort for Colon. This is his 8th start for the Twins, and he's put them in position to win. 44-year-old Bartolo Colon has been doing this for a long time. Pitching change here as Colon leaves the field, and he's put his team in a position to win. Making his 8th start with the Minnesota Twins. He's in line for his 4th win. He came into this game with a 3-2 record since joining the Twins. That turned things over to the bullpen. Alan Busnitz making his 16th appearance.
Pretty good arm for Busnitz. He's got a fastball in the upper 90s. Look at the numbers that he has put up in 15 games this year. Both righties and lefties hitting under 200. He's got that upper 90s fastball, a fine curveball. They got him from the Angels with Santiago for Ricky Nolasco and Alex Myers. So a trade that helped both clubs.
First pitch breaking ball to Bautista. Jose is 0 for 3. Minnesota leads it, first of 3 here at Rogers Center, their first meeting of the season. Ball 2. Colon did not strike out a batter over 6 2/3. Strikeouts, a waste of energy. Takes at least 3 pitches. So Colon leaves the ball game having thrown 96 pitches. He walked 1. That was Smoak, and that was intentional. He threw him a 3-2 breaking ball.
Yeah, 2 outs, nobody on. He's had 63 wins since turning 40. Looking for number 64. If the bullpen can hold on.
Three and 1 to Bautista. Kuznets falling behind. They brought him in because he's got a powerful arm and a guy that can throw that fastball to Bautista. And there's the fastball at 96.
96. He has pitched at least an inning in 13 of his 15 appearances. Just recalled July the 24th from the minor leagues. Had some big numbers in AAA. Time called as Joe Mauer is going to play behind Smoak now.
3 and 2, 2 outs, so Smokey will be off on the pitch. The Jays trying to mount a comeback here in the 7th. There goes the runner. Bautista bounces it towards short. Big hop for the shortstop Polanco, and Bautista's retired. Kuznets gets out of it. And Colon indeed is in line for the win. 6 2/3 for the 44-year-old right-hander.
It's a clash of Premier League titans fresh off defeat. Arsenal seeks redemption as they visit Anfield, while the Reds look to build on last week's late triumph. Arsenal-Liverpool, Sunday on Sports Network.
We move to the 8th inning. New pitcher for the Blue Jays is the lefty Aaron Loup, and Loup making his 57th appearance of the season. It's had a pretty good year.
Lately, he's been throwing a lot harder and a lot more effective. He pitched on Wednesday 2/3 of an inning. Loopy was throwing hard. We saw some 93s and some 94s. He said his breaking ball has been better. His changeup has been better. That was against Tampa Bay. It's his first look at the Minnesota Twins tonight. 57 games now for Loup.
Loup pitched in Chicago on Sunday. He came in and got 2 outs, had a strikeout in 2/3 of an inning. He's on trying to keep it right where it's at. It's 5-1 Minnesota. Dominic Leone with another good outing. Gave up a leadoff single, a stolen base, and nothing more. Had a couple of strikeouts. There's another great bunt, and Loop's going to not have a play. Jorge Polanco with the 3rd bunt base hit for the Twins tonight. Byron Buxton had a pair of bunt base hits, including an RBI bunt hit in the 3rd.
You know, it's just a fundamentally sound ball club offensively. Jose playing back, but the bunt is perfect. He deadens it on that artificial surface, and no play for anybody to get it out. That's textbook fundamental bunting. Guess who used to do that really well?
The Hall of Famer, Paul Molitor. Molitor turned 61 on the 22nd of August, and he's in his 3rd season as the manager. He has been a bench coach. He was the hitting coach in Seattle in 2004. I saw him come up as a rookie in 1978 in Milwaukee, and right away you could tell he was special. Rosario cuts and misses. It's 0-2.
Yeah, with him as a hitter, I would play 3rd base against him, and you always had to guard against those quick risks, ripping a ball down there. But he was a great bunter too, with speed. He would wait for the last second and then flip that bat around in bunt position and drop it down, just like his players are doing now that we're seeing tonight.
Lined and caught by Refsnyder. Nice play by Rob at second. That ball was headed into right field. Refsnyder came into the game as a defensive replacement after Morales had pinch hit for Darwin Barney.
Uses every inch of his frame to go up there and get that base hit, possibly, and Lope's digging that.
They got the coverage sorted out at second base on the comebacker to Luke. Twins have 3 stolen bases tonight. Polanco stole a base in the 2nd. Buxton stole a base in the 5th, and Dozier got one in the 7th. Mitch Garver getting the start as the DH. He tripled and scored in the 4th. And Molitor, of course, played for the Blue Jays in '93 and '94. He was the World Series MVP in '93. He hit just .500 in the World Series, 12 for 24. Paul had 2 doubles, 2 triples, 2 home runs, and drove in 8 in the World Series. He came back the next year and hit .341.
That's it? Just .341?
He got better and better as he got older. Back-to-back World Series champs. He was part of the '93 team. But he is a special baseball player and becoming a very good manager. Breaking ball, and Garver strikes out. Molitor is a very small group of players that played well and became a manager. And take a look at this breaking ball from Loop. That's been a pretty good strikeout pitch for him lately.
Especially to the right-handers. He can stick that fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he can just bend that breaking ball underneath their bat. You know, there was a time talking about Paul Molitor that people were wondering if he'd ever get on the field. Remember, early in his career, he was always hurt. Elbow problems and leg problems,
and
shoulder problems,
issues.
the oblique issue.
Yep. And first 3 years in Milwaukee, he was hurt a lot.
I thought with all of those injuries early in his career that he wouldn't get the 3,000 hits, but he did.
9th all-time in hits. He's one of 5 players with 3,000 hits, 500 stolen bases, and a lifetime 300 average. And he's just a terrific player, loves baseball, demands a lot from his players, and This year it looks like they're responding. This is Max Kepler, the right fielder. The swing on appeal to the third base umpire, Adam Amari. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Inside. Blue Jays pitchers have struck out 10 tonight. Happ had 7. Leon got a pair. Loops got 1. They've only walked 1 batter. 3-2. There goes the runner. Ball is bounced and Smoak makes a terrific play. That ball looked like extra bases down the right field line, but Smoak takes it on the short hop. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays trail 5-1. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Kevin Barker from the Samsung Broadcast Studio.
Jays back to school day. The first 10,000 kids 14 and under entering the Rogers Center will receive a back to school backpack. It's the Blue Jays taking on the Twins at 1:07 p.m. Go to bluejays.com for tickets. Buck Pat, the good news is we don't have to go back to school. The bad news, we are too old to get one of those great backpacks.
Pretty good looking backpack, Sean, that's for sure. And all those kids, despite the fact they're not looking forward to going back to school, I'm sure they're looking forward to getting one of those backpacks. This is Taylor Rogers, a 26-year-old. He's from Littleton, Colorado. He was drafted by the Twins in the 11th round of the 2012 draft out of the University of Kentucky.
Not overpowering. He's been their setup man all season long. He's got 28 holes. Most in all of baseball. Not overpowering. He eats up lefties, and he's going to get a couple of lefties this inning. Left-handed batters hitting just 190 against Rogers this season.
Montero, Pilar, and then Aoki, 2 of the 3 scheduled batters, the lefties.
He sinks the ball. He throws strikes. Curveball about a third of the time. He's got 2 speeds on that curveball. Not overpowering. It says a lot about how he's able to mix his pitches and hit his spots.
Big breaking ball missed outside. It's 2-1. Taylor Rogers has a twin brother, Tyler, who happens to be a right-handed pitcher in the Giants organization, currently in AAA Sacramento. Three and 1. You bring a lefty in to face the lefties, and you certainly don't want to lose one of them to start the inning. Paul Molitor saw his club trade away their closer. Brandon Kinsler was traded to the Nationals. There's strike 2. And it all happened about the same time. They had traded for Jaime Garcia. Then they went on a West Coast trip. Garcia pitched one game, won that game, but the team had a tough run. Ran into the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium.
That coincided with the Rangers and the Indians or not the Rangers, the Royals and the Indians getting hot. So the front office said, well, we'll trade our closer. We're not going to win it. Well, they got hot again.
Well, it's one thing if one team gets hot, you say, okay, well, we can catch that other team. But when both teams ahead of them got hot at the same time, they traded Jaime Garcia after one start and a win. And they got the two minor league prospects they were looking for from the Yankees when they traded Garcia to New York. Leadoff walk to Montero. Pilar's been swinging the bat well all night long. Kepler runs this one down in right. Boy, they cover a lot of ground in the outfield. Kepler, Buxton, and Rosario. TJ House, the lefty, loosening up. House got into a ball game in Tampa Bay. House pitched on Tuesday night, had a clean inning. Trevor Hildenberger, he is loosening up. And he is a sidearmer, as you saw. Nori Aoki. Aoki 1 for 3. He got the start in right field. Bautista plays third tonight, and Donaldson is the DH.
Gonna have to stay on that curveball and flip it to left field.
Breaking ball, he pulls it to second. Dozier will go get the lead runner, Montero.
He rolled over that one.
So there are 2 quick outs here in the 8th. As Aoki hits into the fielder's choice. Ryan Goins has had another good night at the plate. Go goes 2 for 3. Average up to 221. The Yankees have tied it up. It's a 1-1 game, bottom of the 8th in the Bronx. Baltimore is putting it on the Red Sox. Orioles lead 13-3, top of the 7th. Orioles have been swinging the bats well. Trumbo with his 20th home run. Davis his 21st.
Manny Machado's got to do some damage, doesn't he? He's been hot for a month.
3 more hits tonight. Ground ball, base hit through the left side. A 3-hit night for Gogo. He's 3 for 4.
And handling that lefty, something he did well last year, just going the other way. He was beat by that fastball. Just bounces it into the outfield. Fastball on the outside or the inside part of the plate. Inside out swing. Bounces it between the shortstop and third baseman. And Gogo's got a 3-hit night.
So the skipper, Paul Molitor, back out of the dugout. He's going to make a pitching change here. So Rogers is out. Hildenberger coming on, the sidearmer. He will pitch to Rob Refsnyder, who will get his first plate appearance tonight. 2 on, 2 outs. Blue Jays trying to rally here in the bottom of the 8th. They trail by 4. Hilgenberger, the sidearmer, makes his 22nd appearance of the season. He takes over with 2 on and 2 outs here in the 8th.
Made his major league debut at the end of June this season. 21 games now for Hilgenberger. 2-2, 304. He's a sidearmer. He's got a great sinking fastball, and that fastball plays up because of that arm slot. And when he is on, he's going to get a lot of ground ball outs. Watch how much his ball moves.
Refsnyder goes after the first pitch. Buxton's on the run and makes a terrific catch. He left his feet and saves a couple of runs for Hilgenberger. And Buxton, we told you this is an athletic outfield. Didn't we just see this with that guy down in Tampa Bay? Kevin Kiermaier did this yesterday to take 2 away from the Blue Jays, and tonight it's Byron Buxton doing his thing in center to close out the Blue Jays in the 8th. And right there, Byron Buxton and the Blue Jays have been robbed the last 2 games.
Well, it's an instant replay. A couple of runners on. Steve Pearce blasts this ball to center field. But the Gold Glover, Kevin Kiermaier, takes away a couple of runs right there with that great play. Well, you want to see an instant replay? Rob Refsnyder with a line drive to right center field. Here comes Byron Buxton. He's going to be in the voting for the Gold Glove in center field. He takes away a couple of runs from the Blue Jays with that outstanding play.
Terrific athlete. Buxton has shown all of his skills tonight. 2 bunt singles. He stole a base, and there he saves 2 runs for the Twins with a terrific catch in center. TJ House making his 2nd appearance with the Blue Jays. Those are his numbers from AAA Buffalo. He retired the side in order. That was on Tuesday in the 8th inning. Top of the order, Kiermaier, Duda, and Longoria. He struck out Duda.
He made it look easy. 1-2-3 against Tampa Bay. Works quickly. He's got a good breaking ball. Throws a lot of strikes. Moves the ball in and out. He's not really overpowering, but he knows how to pitch.
Chris Jimenez, the catcher, is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. There's a base hit down in the left field line. That's got a chance to be extra bases. Pierce plays it off the wall. Here's the throw to second. It's a good throw, but not in time. Chris Jimenez, a leadoff double. That's his 7th double of the season. And the Twins have had the leadoff man on in 8 of the 9 innings tonight.
Another leadoff batter gets on. Pitch down and in from Jimenez. This is his first hit of the night. Pierce does a good job of playing it, gathering it, setting himself up, and accurately accurately throwing a strike to second base.
It's the 7th time they've had their leadoff man on. Jay Happ retired the side in order in the 6th, and he got the first batter, Jimenez, in the 3rd.
Watch Dozier go to work now. He's a dead pull hitter, but he's going to try and advance that runner any way he can.
Ball and a strike to the second baseman.
20 of his 26 home runs have come against right-handed pitching. Lefties, he's hit 6 and driven in 16.
Pops this one up. Smoak calling for it. The first baseman is there, and Dozier can't get the runner over.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful shot of the skyline of Toronto from Center Island. Gorgeous evening. It has been beautiful weather here for the last 2 homestands at least. Joe Mauer takes the first pitch downstairs. Mauer is 2 for 4, and he's scored a pair of runs. DJ House has parts of 3 seasons with the Cleveland Indians prior to this season with the Blue Jays. He's in spring training, did not make the club out of spring training, and this is just his 2nd appearance of the season. House in 2014 made 18 starts for the Cleveland Indians and went 5-3 with a pretty good ERA at 3.35.
He was a starter down in Buffalo this season, so he's got plenty of experience and plenty of innings under his belt. He'll pitch out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays.
He has faced Mauer a lot, and the Twins first baseman just 1 for 8 against TJ House. Mauer cuts this one into left. That's going to get down for a base hit. They're going to stop the runner at third, Jimenez. So Joe Mauer, another 3-hit game for him.
You can see why Joe Mauer is a 300 hitter in his career. He stays inside the baseball. TJ House tried to run that ball inside, but he was able to keep his hands inside the ball, get the barrel of the bat into the outfield. He advances the runner to third base. Watch how he takes that inside pitch. No stride. Hands stay inside it so he can get the barrel on the baseball and line it out into the outfield. Now the infield has to come in again.
Byron Buxton, and I love his nickname.
Yeah.
He's done a terrific job with the nickname. I think it's one of the most creative nicknames we've seen. There you go, Buck. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
You're a fan of it. He must be a fan of you.
Yeah, right.
Is he taking that from you?
No, not at all. Buxton, right?
Okay.
Ball and a strike. The infield is in, and Buxton is late. 1-2. Minnesota now has 12 hits. Blue Jays have 10 hits, but just a single run. Two balls and 2 strikes. Way outside.
Blue Jays are basically giving second base to Joe Mauer. Now that it's 3-2. Infield's in because they don't think they're going to be able to turn 2 at Buxton. He just runs too well.
Pulls that one foul. So Eduardo Escobar, third baseman, is on deck. DJ House, the third reliever to work. Leon Lupin, now House. There's a base hit. Buxton's had a big night. He picks up another RBI, his second of the night, as the Twins continue to take advantage of that leadoff base runner. Jimenez comes in to score, and it's 6-1 Minnesota.
Third hit of the night for Buxton. I don't care what he's done offensively. I've been impressed with him defensively. He's made some great plays in the outfield. They got a winner with this kid.
He does a terrific job of staying on this pitch, not trying to do too much. He just stayed on it, drives it over the drawn-in infield for an RBI single. He has 2 bunt singles, and now has a single to left. That's going to be foul down the right side.
This is a team, the Minnesota Twins, who this month have been averaging 6 runs a game. And they're at it again.
The Cleveland Indians lead the AL Central. They've already beat Kansas City 4-0 tonight. So Minnesota trying to keep pace with the front-running Indians. Minnesota's 5.5 games back in that division. We mentioned Paul Molitor's team has a very favorable schedule. They will only face Cleveland 3 more times, and that won't be until the 26th of September. John Curtis was just called up from the minors. He's never pitched in the big leagues. If he appears, it'll be his major league debut. There's a fly ball to the right. Aoki is back, and he makes the running catch. Escobar is retired, 2 down. $35,525 in attendance for this 3-game series opener here on Friday night. Day game Saturday, day game Sunday. Pitching matchup tomorrow. Dylan G, the former Met, will go to the mound for Minnesota against Marco Estrada. Kyle Gibson will start on Sunday. The Blue Jays have yet to name a starter, but the speculation is that it will be Joe Biagini, who threw a side session here today as a starter out of the windup.
He's online. You know, this would be online. He just threw down to the minor leagues. There's Joe's first time that we have seen him as a starter, but that's his windup. He was earlier today around 2:30, 3 o'clock this afternoon getting his work in. So looks like he'll be the pitcher on Sunday.
Polanco goes after that breaking ball. Biagini pitched against Pawtucket on Tuesday and held them to 2 runs over 7 innings. Just a bit inside. It's 2-2. Now it's a full count. Well, that'll give the runners a head start. Joe Mauer from second. Byron Buxton from first. A run in here in the 9th. Minnesota with a 6-1 lead. There go the runners, and it's way outside all the way back to the backstop.
Ball 4 will load the bases.
Blue Jays have had a problem in this part of the lineup. Joe Mauer with 3 hits tonight. Byron Buxton with 3 hits. Polanco with 3 hits.
We told you they came in swinging the bats well. They have 13 hits tonight. That has led to 6 runs. And they have the bases loaded.
Blue Jays have 10 hits of their own, but they've left 11 on base. Here's one of the regulars, Rosario, who does not have a hit. Escobar, Rosario, Kepler, the only regulars tonight for Minnesota without a hit.
Way inside, as all of a sudden TJ House is having trouble finding the strike zone. Ground ball. Ref Snyder at second goes to first. That ends the inning, but the Twins get another run. They score a run on 3 hits and leave a pair. They'll go to the bottom of the ninth. John Curtis going to make his major league debut against the Blue Jays when we come back.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by award-winning Honda Marine. Great days on the water begin with Honda.
We are in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Minnesota has a 6-1 lead. And it'll be another pitcher for the Twins, and this is John Curtis making his major league debut. He was just added to the roster 2 days ago, and this is his first big league appearance.
Yeah, 4th reliever of the night for the Minnesota Twins. Big right-hander spent this season in AA and AAA, 39 games, originally from the University of Texas. Fastball slider from the big right-hander.
Steve Pearce, the leadoff man. He's 0 for 4.
Relieving is nothing new for Curtis. He had 19 saves while he was in the minor leagues this season. Like you said, he was just recalled. Had his contract selected on the 23rd of this month.
Breaking ball hammered down the left field line, and it is foul. Left that breaking ball up, and Pierce smoked it, but foul.
What's going through his head right now, saying, wow, that's the same slider I threw in the minor leagues, and they didn't hit it.
Nobody ever hit it like that.
So I better locate it just a little bit better now. There's some concern down that left field line from a fan. and got hit by this ball. The left fielder, Rosario, is taking his time getting back to his position, worried about the fan.
Yeah, and Rosario now, they're going to give him time to get back. Oh, and 2. Fastball that shatters his bat. The barrel goes past the bag at third. John Curtis began his career in 2014. He made 6 starts, and he started his first 2 seasons in the minors. Then he moved to the bullpen in 2016. Split his time between Fort Myers in the Florida State League and Cedar Rapids in the Midwest League. This year at AAA Rochester, he appeared in 18 games and allowed just 11 hits and 24 in the 3rd inning.
Doesn't walk anybody. It's always around the plate.
Pierce got a piece of it. There's a good slider, and he strikes out Pierce, so he's got a strikeout in his resume with 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carolyn Cameron and Ben Ennis. Thank you very much, Carolyn and Ben, and it's all coming up right after this ball game, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Suspensions. There were 8 ejections in that brawl yesterday. In those 3 balls, they
3 balls.
Emptied the benches 3 times in Detroit, Yankees and Tigers. But I agree with Joe Girardi, and they threw out the catcher, Austin Romine. And Cabrera initiated the fight. He pushed Romine. What's Romine supposed to do? He's just covering up, trying to protect himself. But there were some unusual circumstances. Cabrera has since accused Aaron Judge of punching him in the throat. And Gary Sanchez was caught on tape punching Cabrera at the bottom of the pile. So those are going to be things that stick with players' minds and go with them.
When he had players on top of him,
yeah,
he was kind of picking and choosing who he wanted to hit.
Donaldson hits a high fly ball to left. Rosario is there, and that's 2 away here in the 9th. So John Curtis making his big league debut, trying to close things out. His first big league strikeout, Steve Pierce, and he gets the 2015 American League MVP, Josh Donaldson, to fly out the left.
Before this game gets over, we got on this date in baseball Twins history. I don't know if you saw that today. Paul Molitor's 39-game hit streak was snapped on this date today. 39-game hit streak for Molitor. I played in that game, and I did everything I could to help him get to 40 at first base. Missed a couple of balls. They gave me errors.
And, of course, you know who was on the mound and ended that streak. John Farrell ended the streak. This is a pop-up to left, and that's going to do it. John Curtis has an inning in the big leagues, 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout. The Twins win the opener 6-1. Bartolo Colon the winner. Some big offensive nights. Byron Buxton had 3 hits. Joe Mauer had 3 hits. And everybody's congratulating young John Curtis for his first big league appearance.
Yeah, from the first big league game to a guy who's been around forever, the oldest active major leaguer, wins his 239th career game, inching closer to that Juan Marichal record for most wins for a Dominican Republic-born player. Bartolo Colon, star of the game for me tonight.
The Twins maintain pace with the Cleveland Indians. They're 5.5 games back. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Carolyn and Ben.